Feeling more busy than productive? Looking for a way to slow down the day and get everything done? Welcome to All the Things with Julie Miller Davis, where we interview the experts who love to do everything you shouldn't be doing so you can stop juggling all the things and start doing the right things. Here's your host, CEO and founder of JMD Productivity Training and the host of All the Things, Julie Miller Davis.
Hello, everyone. How about our new intro? It's so exciting. It's so much better than just the 30-second clock counting us in. Hello, everyone. It is time for our September rendition of All the Things with Julie Miller Davis. At JMD Productivity Training, what we do is help people reset their habits and patterns so they can start doing the right things instead of doing, as Pat Miller said in the intro, all the things. Today, I am so excited to bring Connie Zeller to you. She's the CEO of Salty Bee Events, and she has been my saving grace for 3 years now on my Unstuck event that we do every October. She has transformed C. Zeller Events from a young startup into the vibrant event production company that it is today. Salty Bee Events, by serving her clients with the professionalism that they came to expect at their live events prior to COVID-19. So she is now doing live events as well as virtual events. She will help you with whatever events that you have. She's assisted her clients by developing a process for growth and financial success for their events. It enables them to stay connected and serve their audiences and ideal clients. Currently, we're all coming back to live, but the virtual world is here to stay. So Connie's prepared to navigate either one of those with you. I am so happy today to bring to our studio Connie Zeller. Welcome in.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Julie. This is great.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you. Connie and I have known each other for quite a long time, and we were in a coaching program together, and then I brought her in to run my event for the first time, I think in 2020, actually, during COVID.
No, it was the first one.
Post-COVID?
It was after COVID.
Okay, so 2021.
21.
Yeah, 2021.
Yes. Yeah.
It was our first hybrid event. So we run a hybrid event. So we are very much virtual and in person, and it's a pretty phenomenal time. And without Connie's help, I don't know that I definitely can't do all the things as this show.
Because you shouldn't do all the things.
So paint a picture for us of your journey. Talk about the essence of your business and what drove you to start it.
So the essence of my business, of course, I help all of the entrepreneurs, small businesses who are having their events. They love their events, but they shouldn't be doing everything for their events. And so I really want people to realize that, it's sort of like when you're the bride at a wedding, you don't want somebody coming up to you with the knife saying, "Can you serve us cake yet?" No, because you're the bride. And so I always tell entrepreneurs, you're the bride. Let me just take care of that cake knife and handle that. My journey was interesting. I did, many years ago, I did corporate events. And then we had a reduction in force at my office. And I was able to find work, but not at the level that I was earning when we had the reduction in force. So I wrote a list of these are the things I love doing in my business. And I love the company I worked with. It was just, venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are going to be venture capitalists. It wasn't personal against me, but I love the company. And so I wrote down all the things I loved with that job. And I wrote down all the things I didn't like. And the more I looked at it, I thought, if I'm going to work for peanuts, I might as well work for my peanuts instead of somebody else's. So that was really how I started in on I should be doing events for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Yeah. And how old is your business?
It's almost 5 years old.
Okay. So we met right at the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah. You and I met actually when I was still figuring out how I was going to set up my business.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're all about productivity here. So I'm curious about of all the productivity hacks that you've encountered or tried, which one stands out as like a game changer for you?
Yeah, a game changer for me, and I know this is going to sound kind of weird, is if I get out of the house,
Hmm.
because then I'm not distracted. If I'm in my office at home, there are times when I can work all day and it's fine. But if I've got that little issue of I'm getting distracted, there's laundry, there's dishes, there's a TV, I pack things up and I head to a co-working space or to my library to just get out. So really that is it, because then I can crank out more work in that time frame
Yeah.
and I only have to hang out there in half the time it would take me to goof around at home.
Totally, totally. And I think that's really important for a lot of people because many entrepreneurs, solopreneurs work at home, and even contractors work at home a lot of times. And it is so easy to be distracted at home. And it you go down all these little rabbit holes for sure that we
Yeah.
talk about here. But yeah, if you're having trouble with that, it is it's so you don't have to go rent office space or anything like
Mhm.
that. Yeah, go just get a room at the co-working space, the library. All of those are even a coffee shop has distractions, but nobody knows you there, so you can just kind of park yourself for a little bit and get some things done. So I find even while traveling and stuff, it's kind of like when I go to the airport and work, it's like I get so much done because I'm just in my little world, right?
I agree with that. When people say, "Why do you get to the airport so early?" It's like, so I can get some stuff done before I get on the plane, then I don't have to worry about it.
Totally, totally. Oh my gosh. Um, where when navigating the complexities of like running a business, where have you felt particularly overwhelmed or sidetracked concerning like productivity or getting those things done?
You know, I definitely get sidetracked if I don't put, so of course I've learned from you the time chunking. If
Yes.
I'm not time chunking for a project that really needs my attention, then I will put it off or I will say that I'm going to do it. And then I'll say, oh, I'll do it and it'll only take me a half an hour. I know like some things are going to take me an hour and a half. So if I plan that time chunk, I have that set. So that really is,
Mm.
it's huge for me in that I know it doesn't matter what's happening. This is when I'm doing this thing at this point for this time chunk.
So it's more about that overwhelming feeling where there's a bigger thing that you need to get done, and we don't want to take it on because we think it'll take too much time, and so by getting it just on the calendar, even to start it for 30
Yeah,
minutes gets you back on track.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Um, how do you know, when we talk about doing all the things, what we're talking about is discerning like what really matters from all the rest of the things. So um how does honing productivity, how does honing what you're doing and how you're doing it help to make you help you make choices in a day?
Yeah. A lot of it because my clients' timelines really drive a fair amount of what I am doing for the day. Like for you, we're getting ready for Unstuck. So I have to take a look. You're getting ready to do the workbooks. I need to back up and say, do we have the information we need? Has it been submitted? And so that really gives me that just that impetus to get it in on time, because I don't want the rest of the event to suffer because something wasn't turned in on time.
Yeah.
And so that really drives what I do. And I look at my clients' timelines every morning after I get, my morning routine set up. I look at their timelines and see what's coming up so that I know I'm not missing something.
Awesome. Awesome. So I like this question to ask that I would love for you to share a recent like victory or eureka moment. We decided use Eureka instead of aha, because everyone's using like aha moment, like Eureka moment in your business. And how did it redefine or realign like your goals or your journey?
I think the Eureka was more of the honor the time chunk. A couple things I found out is, if I did a 90-minute time block or time chunk on something, I still needed more time on that. Initially, when I gave it 90 minutes, I'm like, I'll have it done and out of here. But as I was getting into it, it's like, I could probably spend another 90 minutes on it. So now I need to expect a little bit longer on this type of thing. Don't think you can get it done in half an hour? You can't. Don't think you can get it done in 90 minutes? You can't. Set up 2 90 minutes or 2 60 minutes time chunk. That was big. And also scheduling it, putting it in my schedule so that I'm honoring it.
Is there anything like in the events landscape right now, Connie, that's shifting as there's returning to somewhat of whatever normal is? I mean, there's a new normal, right? Because the virtual wasn't really a thing before. Virtual events weren't a big thing before 2020, but is there anything like shifting as far as like big, huge events, or, what do you see in the landscape?
A lot of things that I'm seeing, people are, they're not signing up as quickly as they used to be. They are really holding back. I think it's twofold. I think one, some people are maybe still a little bit nervous to travel, or because the cost of travel has increased so much. So if they're going away to an event, they're figuring the cost is going to be higher in airfare. The cost is going to be higher in gas, rental cars, or, a Lyft or Uber is going to be more expensive. Hotels are more expensive. Hotels are still having a hard time getting staffing. And I know that seems strange because they have increased prices and they've increased flexibility. But, we heard about that mass migration from people not going back to work when the pandemic ended, and hotels and hospitality really took a hit. So really knowing that it's, when you're planning an event, if you want to have 50 people at your event, don't be surprised if you get a chunk of them the last 2 weeks before your event, and don't freak out. It's hard not to, but people are just waiting longer. And that's before it used to be, you would offer an early bird and you would get the majority of your attendees during that early bird offer. And I'm noticing early bird isn't snatched up as much as it used to be.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's true about, I mean, if you all notice about the just service industry, the hotels are having a hard time. They're understaffed. So are restaurants. Some restaurants aren't even fully open. They're still limited amount of tables because they can't get workers. I'm just wondering, where are these people that were like, how are they making money that were in this industry? It's really curious to me.
Yeah.
Really curious to me. So do you think that's part of why these virtual events are really sticking around? It's a lot cheaper for the event, not the event, whoever's running the event, putting on the event, it's a lot less stress because it's just not as much money up front, really.
Yeah. Money up front is a huge thing for both. For the host, you don't have to secure and put a hefty deposit on a venue and then anticipate everybody's going to show up. Also for the attendees, because one thing that we noticed, and if people are going to say it didn't happen, or that it's not going to continue, I beg to differ. But how many people got new clients not from their local communities because of the virtual events?
Yeah.
People were able to reach internationally, and so many people that I've worked with, when they've had their virtual events, I have been amazed at the people who have figured out the time change. They've shown up from India, they've shown up from Australia, they've shown up from different areas of the world. Well, they're not going to get on a plane and come to your 3-day event. So if you're still having that virtual piece, you're still serving those clients you got. So it is absolutely necessary. They aren't as big as they were, but I also say they're still as impactful.
So I'm curious, and if we look at what you do to help alleviate people doing all the things you talked about, like treating your event leader as a bride. Like they don't need to know all the nitty gritty details during the event itself. But what I'd like to know is like, how do you enhance the experience for the person running the event? Like, what are you able to do that makes the event so much better than it would be without you?
Yeah. So in the lead up, I'm definitely going to help identify problems that maybe were a shortfall before. You and I have had this really great opportunity to increase your sponsorship. And a lot of that has been because we've worked together to find great sponsors, to find a level people are anxious to join and support. I mean, you filled your sponsors this year earlier than last year. I anticipate next year we'll get some other levels of sponsors we haven't thought of yet. So even thinking about that element and bringing it in. The other thing is, while you are at the event, again, you don't have to know everything, just taking care of it and staying calm. We know it's that whole little, ducks. The duck is gliding, but the little feet are just going like crazy under the water. And that's running events. There's no getting around it. But always remain calm to the attendees, remain calm to the host, remain calm to everybody around you. And then afterward, you can say, all right, our plan to review, we need to fix this for tomorrow. But during the time, don't let everybody know. Don't let them see you sweat. Wasn't that a commercial?
Yeah, never let them see you sweat. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's just so much power in you as the event person, whatever your event looks like. It doesn't have to be a big old production, but like not having to worry about every little detail, and just when a question pops up in your mind, to be able to pass it off to Connie, who's basically leads my team through this event. And it's been a game changer for us. Our event has increased. It's just increased in quality and in quantity year after year after year. It's been really, really great. So here at JMD, we believe in the power of continuous learning. Is there a book or a podcast or a class or something that has recently ignited a little spark in you, or that's been a good little listen or read or whatever?
It's strange. I started it for entertainment, but I learned so much. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she has her podcast, Wiser Than Me. And she interviewed women older than her, and she asked them, what would you tell your younger self, or what would you change, or what would you do? And initially, I just wanted to listen to it because I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I'm like, this is going to be a great podcast. But it was really interesting. Jane Fonda was her first interview on the podcast. And she said, Jane Fonda said, I should have said no to some things. And that was really interesting, because we always hear, no is a complete sentence. Even for someone of her stature, she's, done so many, she's amazing. And she still said, there's some things I should have said no to. And even hearing, advice they would give their younger self. Carol Burnett was the last interview for the season. And when she was asked, what would you tell your younger self? She said, I wouldn't tell my younger self anything, because everything I've learned is what makes me me.
Yeah.
Nothing like say no more often. Nothing. No, it was nothing, because I wouldn't be me without that experience.
Awesome. What's the name of the podcast again?
Wiser Than Me.
Wiser Than Me.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was great. And from there, there were a few women I wasn't familiar with. I went in, checked them out, found out, but most of them are, pretty well-known women. And it was great. I really, really loved it. And like I said, I just wanted it for a quick driving in the car or something else to listen to. But I learned so much.
Is it influencing your perspective on anything, or
it definitely, my parents passed away when they were younger. And a lot of times I have a doom cloud. I was like, well, there's X number of years, and that's when my dad passed away, and X number of years when my mom passed away.
Yeah.
And from this perspective, it really gave me that, well, that doesn't really matter. I mean, it could happen, but don't play into it. And all of these women that have just done incredible things, they didn't let their age stop them. and they're
Awesome.
still very active. So really, that taught me a lot as well.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's switch gears to our final question, which is I want our listeners to be able to benefit directly from you. Do you have any upcoming like ventures, workshops, or giveaways that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, so I do have an event checklist. I'm getting ready to load that onto my website. So go to Salty Bee Events. It's just salty letter B events.com, and you'll be able to download that. I'm also getting ready to do a sponsorship information one sheet, just so that when you're getting ready to set up sponsors for your event, you're not disillusioned that people are going to just knock down the door wanting to be your sponsor your first year. But your second year, they're going to get closer, and your third year, and it's going to grow. But also how to set those levels so that you're comfortable, your sponsors are comfortable, and it serves your event. So those will be coming up on my website soon.
Yeah, it's just so interesting that people think that sponsors and attendees, I don't know, fall from trees, and it's a lot of work. And you guys, you have to talk to people. You have to have a plan. You have to reach out personally to people is where you're going to get most of your stuff. It's not going to mostly come from just putting a post out there on the internet or your website. So yeah. Well, Connie, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about today before we wrap it up?
One thing I do want to let people know, those of you who haven't done your events because you're afraid, or, we've been talking about expense and how much it costs. Don't not do your event because you're overwhelmed. Even if you want, get with me. We can chat. I have no problem giving you some ideas, because I never want an event to be icky. I never want anybody
not
to
do it because they're so afraid of the unknown. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And, and I'll tell you things to watch out for, but I have no problem giving you some support from a distance. So just don't not have your event, but I also want your event to be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Connie.
Thank you, Julie.
I'm gonna have you leave the studio, but hang out for a minute so we can connect after.
Excellent. Thank you.
That was Connie Zeller of Salty Bee Events, my personal event coordinator and magician and saving grace through my Unstuck event. Thank you. I hope that you all will please connect with her at saltybeeevents.com, salty letter B events.com, and check out her event blueprint checklist to help you just, what do you need to make sure all your ducks in a row are in a row for an event, and maybe even schedule a call with her. What do we have coming up here at JMD Productivity Training? You heard us mention it several times today. We have the Unstuck event coming up. Please go to unstuckevent.com and check out what the event is all about. If you would love to have 3 days to work on your business, to break open the dreams that you have for your business, or things that you would like to have happen, or break through roadblocks that you've been up against, this is the event for you. So come check it out. We would love to have you live in person in Colorado Springs or virtually on Zoom. We run it hybrid, so you can come any way that suits you. October 24th, 25th, and 25th, 26th, and 27th. And now we've added a pre-party on October 24th, where you are going to get poured into by some new sponsors who are going to be talking to you, giving presentations around branding, messaging, and how you show up, so that all that productivity pays off in the end, and that you have time and space to spend on doing all of those things that you need to do to elevate your business. We also have the next All the Things coming up Monday, October 9th. It's not too far away at 10:30 Mountain Time, featuring Ann Hill with Hilltop Operations and Consulting. She's going to talk about how you need to set up some systems in your business so that you can really run things smoothly. And we've got Prioritize with Power. My 6-week course starts this Thursday. There's still spots available. If you need to get some things done and figure out why you're not working as optimally as you can, check us out there at prioritizewithpower.com. I hope that you will tune in next month. I hope that we might see you at the event, and please take care and stop doing all the things. Start doing the right things. Thanks, everybody.